this time on Spark. Spark goes inside the world of Bhangra, a traditional Indian dance that's been revitalized by a generation of young Indian Americans.
When you listen to this music, it's almost like this chemical gets released in your body, and it's just really contagious beat.
Next, the Contemporary Jewish Museum is dedicated to the exploration of Jewish art and culture. Their new exhibit asks artists to riff off of a ceremonial Seder plate.
My Seder plate, it's about the exodus of the Jewish people through the millennium.
Then, the music of the Crooked Jades harkens back to a musical era known as Old Time. Next on Spark. Major support for Spark is provided by the James Irvine Foundation, expanding opportunity for the people of California; Diane B. Wilsey, the KQED Campaign for the Future Program Venture Fund, with additional support from the George Frederick Jewett Foundation, Helen Sarah Steyer, and the Phyllis C. Wattis Foundation.
Tickets, please.
At the Flint Center in Cupertino, the audience is arriving for Dol Di Awaz. In its 11th year, it's the oldest Bhangra competition on the West Coast. Started by UC Berkeley's Sikh Students Association, the dance competition has grown over the years to attract more than a dozen teams and a crowd of 2,500. Bhangra is a traditional folk dance from the Punjab region of northern India. More than 500 years ago, it originated with Punjabi farmers who danced to celebrate the harvest.
How I view it is something if like farmers were working in fields and they kind of, as they were working, outside, they started to do it in sync. They would sing and they would dance. And it's also a dance of gratitude, right? Because farmers, when they did it, they've worked all year long really hard, and it's like their labor is bearing fruit. In India, over the years, it's also turned into more of a folk dance. It's something in the Punjabi community, anytime you have any kind of a wedding, a birthday party, any kind of a celebration, this is the music that most often people end up dancing to because it's just so happy and joyous in nature.
It was originally done just performed by men and with a singer and drummer, which is called a toli. And now it's been a complete revolution with the North American scene.
For the children of Indian immigrants, many of whom make their home in the South Bay, Bhangra is a way to connect with their roots while infusing the music and dance with 21st century American culture.
There's huge competitions that go on all over North America, and there's college teams everywhere that participate. And for these college kids, it's huge because they're getting to do Bhangra, but they're getting to do it in their own way. So they fuse it with other dance styles. So they're trying to find their own way to connect to the Punjabi culture and Punjabi music.
Backstage at Dol Di Awaz, dancers and musicians from around North America are getting ready to perform.
Our team name is Nachdi Jawani. We're from Toronto.
We're just doing it like how it's supposed to be done. Well, we're trying to do it how it's supposed to be done, and we're going to give it our best. We're just trying to take another level ahead, trying to prove ourselves.
Yo, why are you guys laughing, yo? I'm trying to be smart here.
Those are, we call them pugs, but they're also known as turbans, and they're part of the dress. So we have to wear it. And there's always marks for them too. So like if one falls off, you lose points.
The teams will be judged on authenticity, choreography, and execution. The grand prize is $4,000, and the competition is sure to be heated.
One, two, three, four. 1, 2, yeah, that's it. Cool? You guys got it?
Nearby, in a practice room at San Jose State University, the co-ed team, Bhangra Empire, is rehearsing. They were formed 3 years ago after San Jose student Praneet Gill attended Dol Diawaz with her siblings.
We went to DDA and we saw the competition and we were like, hey, we want to be a part of that. We want to be a part of the competitive scene. It looks like so much fun. So my brother, sister, and I, we just picked up some of our friends and said, hey, let's just dance.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We didn't really know much about like traditional Bhangra, but I guess we just started off as a modern team, just doing things our own way.
There's a set sequence that teams from India actually perform, and the more traditional teams, they follow this set sequence with these set moves, and it includes live music, and they pick when to pick up their props, when to drop them, things like that. More, I think, modern teams, like ourselves and other teams, kind of try to get a little bit more creative with it. We try to add variations to it just to keep the crowd entertained.
Modern collegiate teams like Bhangra Empire also encourage women to participate in the dance form.
Well, I grew up around traditional Bhangra, so I have a great respect for it, and I love it, and I see the beauty in it. But I'm a girl, and so even when I was growing up with it, the girls never did Bhangra. But it's still a passion, and I feel like women have a place here alongside men. And if that place is more on modern Bhangra teams, then I think every female should get involved.
Bhangra is traditionally performed to live singing and drumming, but American teams often use tracks that fuse Bhangra beats with other music genres.
Traditionally, like most of the music that comes from Punjab, from India, it talks about life in general, people falling in love, people living in villages, conflicts among your in-laws or whatever else happens in the Indian culture. But modern Bhangra, whatever you call it, Bhangra music that's coming out of the States, North America, or out of the UK, it's being fused with other forms of music. So, you'll hear lyrics in English. You'll hear it being fused with like reggae and hip-hop and all kinds of forms of music. So that part of it has changed.
Bhangra Empire may not be tied to convention, but they still preserve many traditional elements of the folk dance, including props that trace back to the origins of Bhangra.
We have dongs, which are sticks, and there's sups, which are these large wooden gates, and they resemble either props that you would use on the farm, or sups, for example, are the thunder from the rains that would bring growth to the crops. So now we use them for different purposes, and it's just really to add noise and elements to the dance.
So we're here now, right? How many people do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8? Good.
Everybody is here on their own. They're not getting any school credit for it. They're not getting paid for it. If you're looking to make money doing this, it's not going to happen. So it's something that they all choose to do. We all choose to do in our own time. It's something that I think everybody on the team can attest to. They feel proud dancing, to something that they've been brought up with and they've seen, and something that they can, make a connection back to their ancestors and things like that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Vicky Verk started Dole Rhythm 6 years ago. Its mission is to introduce Bhangra to a wider audience.
We get every kind of person you can think of, from Asians, African Americans, Latinos, Indians, and just total spectrum all over the place, and people are able to come together and dance together to this music. When you listen to this music, it's almost like this chemical gets released in your body, and you're like, it's a very, very, very heavy on the bass. It's like 4-on-4 drum beats, which is a very accessible way of dancing to music. And it's just really contagious beat.
When we did our heels, you're going to start with your arms here. Don't leave your feet yet, just your arms.
Dole Rhythms offers classes and hosts events like Non-Stop Bhangra, an all-night dance party for experts and amateurs alike.
The event has turned into this amazing staple, in the San Francisco culture and nightlife. What sets it apart is that it's really diverse audience. It's not a typical club scene. Lots and lots of women are able to come out to it, and it's such a happy, joyous form of celebration of a night, and I love the fact that I can share that energy with people.
There's no such thing as sad Bhangra. It's all about being happy and bringing more life to a wedding or life to New Year's. So it's definitely evolved, but it's always been a way to celebrate. There will always be a debate on traditional and modern, and I think no matter how it was first originated and how much it's evolved now, Bhangra is still an important part to us traditionally and culturally, and you know, no matter what interpretation, it's still Bhangra, and it means a lot to us.
Even in competitions, you see it, you'll still see that energy, and that to me is beautiful, that regardless of the fact that, you know, time keeps moving forward, that authenticity and that energy that came from when it originated, what these farmers must have been thinking when they created these moves, you can still see that, and that part of it hasn't changed.